All right, chat crew, we're here to play a game, and Steve's going to take it away.
All right, so we're to the Envie game. Hello, Verla. How you doing?
Hi, Verla.
Good. Nice to see y'all.
Are you plotting your way to get to Omaha to smuggle out a copy of Rococo?
Heck yes.
Yeah, there you go. Don't go
lock your doors, Jordan.
Don't go sleeping. For the Envie game, we got Jordan here to play. You have a game in mind? Yes,
I do.
Right.
It's sitting right here, just off screen.
Perfect. You have a game that we're going to have to try and guess along with the chat crew. We're going to try to ask you some questions back and forth, hopefully yes or no or some ballpark kinds of things. You might not need to necessarily look it up. Maybe you have the BGG screen for the game open too, just in case you need to look up years or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try and play basically 20 questions. It's a race between the chat crew and me, Verla, and BJ, and essentially you trying to, play four corners and run out the clock on us.
Okay.
Right. Good to go?
Good to go.
Is he using Princeton? Is he using the Princeton four corners offense?
Four corners, yeah, exactly. The Ivies.
Yeah. All right.
Want to kick it off, BJ?
I will. Yes. So you got the rules of the game. You understand it?
Yes.
All right. So Jordan, here we go. I'm going to start out with the question that I always ask. Is it competitive or cooperative? And I'm going to guess, because I feel like we've connected this episode. It's competitive. It's got to be competitive.
It's competitive.
Hey, I listened to the show, Steve, so I knew that was going to be a competitive.
All right. Verla? Simon, did you get Toby?
Does
Evan
it
says
play
it's Dominion.
more than 4 players?
Ooh.
It can play more than 4.
Okay.
Okay.
So we know it's a Euro game and it plays more than 4 players.
Which could just mean that it has the possibility of going 5.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And many Euros do. Published in the last 5 years?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a yes.
Ooh.
Okay.
I would have thought it was older. Evan wants to know if it's Dominion. That would not be right. Not in the last 5 years. And Dominion is limited to 4, right? Evan wants to know if this game was scratch and sniff. Would it smell? What would it smell like? Well, that might give it away a lot. He's channeling Beth Sobel there. Or Seth Bobel.
Seth Bobel, exactly.
Seth Bobel.
Seth Bobel.
I don't know. That's an interesting. I don't know if I could necessarily nail down one particular smell for this.
Can't go wrong with cinnamon or mint.
Like it? No smell at all. Come on, Jordan. You got something, right? No smell? I would have said cardboard, but that's just me.
Yeah, cardboard. It does have a pretty strong cardboard smell to it.
Evan, there's your answer. It's got a pretty strong cardboard. He could have said plastic, though.
Yeah.
Or wood.
Or wood. He could have said that.
It did say paper, so we're thinking more board than card, perhaps.
Yeah, that's a good question, Jordan. Is it more board based or is it more card based? If it smelled like kelp, we would know what it would be. Kelp and a little steel plast. It smell like steel plast.
I mean, there's definitely a board to it, but there are a lot of cards as well. So there's a good mixture of both, I would say.
Okay.
Is it an award-winning game?
Good question.
Define award-winning.
If we pull up the game on BGG, Steve, right? Is that how you do it?
So along those lines, an award that people might recognize rather than just Hunterdon County's best game of 2016.
But it was No Cube Zone's game of the year in 2017.
Yeah, there are awards that people would recognize that it has been awarded.
Mick said this is a new beard. Is that right, Jordan?
Yeah, I've going with the beard look for 2021. We'll see how long it lasts.
Patrick wants to know, are there any dice in the game?
Good question.
Good question. That's what I was going to ask next.
No.
He hesitated.
I can't believe we haven't asked this yet. Are there cubes?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Great question.
Cubes.
All right, Jack, let's recap. It's a game in the last 5 years. It has won some awards, we think, right? It's
Yes,
competitive.
it has won some awards that people would recognize.
It's got cubes in it. Does not have dice. Is that right? No dice?
Correct. It has the soulless variant of cubes, which
okay.
are not dice.
That's right.
On the show, we do say that dice are cubes with souls.
You're right. They are cubes with souls.
Gladiators with souls.
Gladiators. Steve, you got a question?
No, just recapping again, it can go higher than 4.
Correct.
We haven't gotten anything about theme. Is for people who are in the hobby, is it designed by someone whose name we'd recognize?
Yes.
Is it a European designer?
Yes.
Okay. Marshall wants to know if it's a sci-fi theme.
Yes, it is a sci-fi theme.
Oh, interesting. In the last 5 years.
Was it on Kickstarter?
No.
Was Gaia Project in the last 5 years? Gaia Project was. What's Gaia Project?
Is it Gaia Project?
It's not Gaia Project.
No. Does it involve a planet?
Yes.
Is it Terraforming Mars?
It is Terraforming Mars.
All right, BJ.
Terraforming Mars. Oh, I love that game. And I love the fact that they used to let me play it on Mac, but now they don't. Crazy. So they issued a it's got a fantastic Steam app if you haven't seen it. Absolutely fantastic Steam app. And they have this beta version on the Mac, but it just doesn't work half the time. So I've given up on it. But when I've been able to play it, oh man, I love playing Terraforming Mars. So what do you like about playing Terraforming Mars? I'm curious, Jordan.
I just think it's so, I think the theme is so cool, and just how every game plays out differently as far as how you are actually terraforming the planet. I like that there was this, the game's been talked about, I've seen like articles of people talking about like how some of the things that they do in the game would actually be how they would actually terraform the planet.
So you like the science aspect?
I do like the science aspect of it. I think that's really cool. I just think that the theme is really cool. I enjoy kind of that everyone's trying to do the same goals like overall, but we're still competing to do them. And I like kind of that, a little bit of that player interaction as far as like the awards of trying to make someone think that they can get one, and then all of a sudden, like at the end of the game, like if someone's like, oh, the banker award, like whoever has the most money or the most money production, and then I've got these cards in my hand, so then they fund that award, and then I just flood it with all these money production things, and then I can swoop that out from under them. So a little bit of that player interaction aspect of it.
Getting John a little bit here in the chat crew with kind of under the radar game. But I'm curious, for people in the chat crew, let us know why you like Terraforming Mars. That Jordan said it's the science part. Verla or Steve, have you played Terraforming Mars?
I have not played Terraforming Mars at all.
I've played it once. It's been at least a year and a half, and I need another play of it to really get a better feel for it.
There are no craft services in the chat, Jeremy. Sorry, we ran out of our budget. You are going to have to get your own food down the street. Remember, takeout only, and you must wear a mask in line. So.
That's right. Jordan, I got to tell you, it's good that you're wearing the OFPG swag, because that's the only thing that's keeping you in Starla's good graces right now.
Right now. You did not pick the right game with Starla, that's for sure. So, I don't play it for the science. So, to be honest, I love tableau building games, and I love engine building games. And it's got both of those on there. I do like the fact that every time I play the game, it feels like the strategies are different depending on what comes out, what the combination of cards you get at the start of the game, the combinations of the way they flow through. But the fight over those goals, I mean, it can really just get so much tension when you're trying to do that.
Yeah,
Jeremy did not like. That's because Jeremy, you've never played it with us. If you played it with us, you probably love it, Jeremy.
And
it's the food.
I know some people. There are a decent number of people here in Omaha who aren't huge Terraforming Mars fans, and I understand that it's not necessarily for everyone, but again, it trips a lot of the triggers of things that I like in a game. Like I do like the science is that's really what like keeps me coming back. But I do like what you said too, BJ, like the engine building and the tableau building, and it plays out differently every time. Like a strategy that might have worked in the last game, like that card could be buried at the bottom of the deck, and you won't even see it till like the last hand, and you'll have to come up with something else. You know, a totally different strategy, and a little bit of that tactical, like dealing with how other people are doing things. And do you do the draft when you play?
Yeah, we only play with the draft. I think that's the way to play. And lately we've only played with Prelude because I like that jump start. One of the downsides of Terraforming Mars is maybe the first couple of rounds without Prelude. I'm not necessarily a fan of the colonies one. It was fun, but I don't need to play with that Prelude. But I'm seeing some, if you're reading the chat, you're seeing people kind of throw out that comparison that we see a lot, and that's to Underwater Cities, a Vladimir Suchy game that is on the surface doesn't look like Terraforming Mars because you're not really building a tableau like you do in Terraforming Mars. I'm always curious why people compare it to that, and I'll be honest, between the two games, I'm with the Chat Krewe. I think I like Underwater Cities better.
Okay.
They're also comparing it a little bit because it came out at the same time as Great Western Trail. So you have that Sagrada Azul, Dune, Lost Ruins of Ornak, and then back then, Great Western Trail and Terraforming Mars came out at the exact same time by the same publisher.
See, I always felt like
got an opinion on that one.
Oh yeah, it's my number 2 game of all time, and like Topher said, I would play it over Terraforming Mars every time.
Yeah,
in my mind, the Ying to Terraforming Mars's Yang was always Scythe because it also came out in 2016, and a lot of people compared the two. Like I think Scythe won a lot of the bigger awards. So I think Terraforming Mars won Golden Geek, a few of the Golden Geek things, but it was up against Scythe, and a lot of people said that Scythe won out because of the production of Scythe as opposed to the lack thereof. Some with Terraforming Mars, with like the Scythe having that was one of the first games that I remember like people really falling in love with, like the dual layer player boards, and Terraforming Mars was essentially just a very thin piece of cardboard that things sat on. If you bumped the table, it kind of got, things got messed up. So
it's true. Although to be fair, Bonacore takes a lot of heat about Terraforming Mars. There's a lot of games like that. One of them is the one Johnny Pack and I are talking about. Underwater Cities has terrible player boards, terrible little chinchy sheets. And there's so many games that do that. I don't know why everybody got on the Terraforming Mars bandwagon about how bad the production was, and it just became like a meme.
And I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it was like that bad as a lot of people made it out to be. Like Stonemeyer is like, he always has like those like top level like productions and things. Absolutely. And like that's just kind of what Jamie's decided he's going to do with his games, is just have production top notch or whatever. And I think Bonacore and Stronghold made a great game with Terraforming Mars. Like I don't fault them for what they did, because like you said, there are a lot of games out there that have the same gameplay like problems as Terraforming Mars. I think it kind of got into like that, like you said, it kind of became a meme of like, this is the thing you make fun of Terraforming Mars for, and that's just kind of now it is what it is, for
good reason. Mick's got a good point. The Terraforming Mars art was just not really good. The dog, I've picked on Bonacore a million times. The dog showing up on Mars just didn't feel very thematic. But comparing to Underwater Cities, I think that Underwater Cities, when you're building out the little cities themselves, it's so much more of a more interesting mechanic than putting the tiles on Mars itself. It's kind of the least interesting part of Terraforming Mars, when it should be the most interesting part. Maybe that's why I lose all the time, because maybe I'm not focusing on. Maybe you score better if you're playing tiles on there. And this is weird for me to say, Steve, because I love tile-line games. I mean, it's probably my number one favorite type of game. But for some reason, the tile laying in Terraforming Mars never does it for me. Whereas I love building out the city in underwater cities. I just love putting out those bubbles and straws and all those things. It's just
Well,
fun.
isn't
Yeah.
the big box that's coming out, doesn't it have a bunch of like 3D tiles and stuff that really
Yeah.
bling it
So-
out and upgrade it?
That's
That
why
might
when
make
you
it better
asked,
for you.
you asked the Kickstarter question, Verla, and I was like, well, the
Oh,
base
okay.
game wasn't, but that they've
Gotcha.
done the last couple expansions have been Kickstarter, so it's like technically no, at least not the one I have, but yeah, they're doing like a big box that has like 3D tiles and like super high production level.
Right.
Evan's got the
Trying
callback.
to make up for the original.
Evan's got the callback. He knows me. If there's a game and there's shiny little things all over the game, I'm going to be completely. I know I'm like the crab in Moana. I just get totally distracted, and you can take anything out of my treasury as long as you distract me with shiny baubles.
So we got BJ's
Squirrel.
like Tamatoa.
I am. Is that it? Is that his name? Tamatoa.
Tamatoa, yeah.
That's it. A little Tamatoa the crab. So yeah, that's 4 different games that all came out at the same time. The Chat Krewe's got a lot of opinions on it, but if I were to rank them, I would go Scythe first, of course, and then I would probably go Underwater Cities, and I might go. I think I'm like Verla. I would go Great Western Trail, and then Terraforming fourth. The funny thing is, all 4 games I would be happy in my collection. I play them any day. They're all one of my top games of all time. But if I had to rank them, that's how I'd do it. Jordan?
I'd probably go Great Western, Terraforming Mars, Underwater Cities, Scythe.
Ooh, okay. Verla?
Definitely Great Western. I haven't played Underwater Cities, so that one's not going to count. Then Scythe, then Terraforming Mars.
Steve?
I can't participate because of those 4, the only one that I have played in person is Scythe.
So Steve has Scythe, and Scythe.
Oh, wait. Don't put words in my mouth here, BJ. Scythe, then Scythe.
Then Scythe. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chat Krewe. I'm seeing a lot of love for Terraforming Mars. Evan says he hasn't played Underwater Cities yet. Got to get that played. Actually, there's a good. Is it Board Game Arena? Yukata?
I think they just got it on Yukata.
Yukata, yeah. I'm in the middle of a game right now where there's my second game, I think, with it. And so the cool thing about Yukata, as it always is, it's one of the Yukata versions, like Rogers of the Ganges, the dice game, or Concordia, where you can make your move, and as long as you're not drawing a card, you can retract it. So you can teach yourself strategy by going, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. If you do that at game night in Lafayette, Louisiana, on a gumbo night, we're going to throw you out like a store.
That hand is going to be lost the moment you reach across the board to move it back again.
Oh, and I played a game with a person who no longer comes to our gumbo game nights because that person did this all night. He would go, I could do this, blah, 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 and then we'd take it back. Or I could do this, blah, 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 and he'd take it back. It made every game 3.5 hours. And I'm sorry, man. Tic-tac-toe just does not take 3.5 hours.
Nick is chiming in, losing Starla with the cute factor. I don't think you're going to have happy pigs on Mars. But maybe if you could convert them, in some way to, upgrade to chibis of some sort that are popular on Mars. I don't know.
No,
Marshall says Scythe, Terraforming Mars, GWT, and then Underwater Cities only because he hasn't played it. So, by the way, Scythe, Marshall has Marshall's buddy Robert has the Scythe that's completely tricked out with the actual tiles that you put out. They're 3D. So the center, I always forget the name of it. The machine, the factory.
Yeah, the factory. Right.
A factory is a 3D representation of a factory that you put stuff on. Robert has every single thing you could have tricked out off of Etsy. It's fun to watch people play on a big giant table. The 7-player Scythe that's completely tricked out. That's wow. So that is it. All right, Verla and Steve, I'm going to send you guys down. Anything else on the game? That was
no. Just enjoy as you send me and Verla down. Enjoy your solo victory, BJ.
Yes,
yeah, for sure. Congratulations.
Savor it.
I'd have to search the board because I don't get very many of those, man.
That's right. Savor it.
I don't know why. No, when you asked that question about cubes and he said yes, started drifting that way. So
all right, alley-oop to you.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Good job. Good job.
Down there.